In this episode, you're going to learn how to exit for 7 figures, how to build up your Amazon business and then sell your Amazon business for $1 million plus. I had Nate Ginsburg on my podcast a couple years ago when he recently sold his business for nearly $1 million, and now he specializes in helping other sellers do this. You can find him at sellerplex.com. He is now an Amazon expert consultant. His business helps Amazon FBA businesses maximize profit and exit for 7+ figures. Sellerplex.com. And today he has a presentation on how to maximize your business for a 7-figure exit. As I talk about all the time, people, you can sell your Amazon store. You can build it up and you can flip it like a property. So in this presentation, he's going to share us everything you need to know to maximize the sale of your business if you choose to exit in the future. So he's a pro. This is what he does. He did it. He built his FBA business up and sold it for basically $1 million in only a few years. And so he's going to school us on this. He's got his presentation. So yeah, let's go ahead and share your screen and we'll dive into it.
Here we go. Thanks for the kind intro.
That was the hype up. I get people hyped up beginning of the podcast.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. All right, everyone. So this is the Ecom Exits Playbook. A little bit first, quick about me. Some Riley mentioned I sold my FBA business in 2017. Since then, I've invested and partnered with 4 different businesses. Also the host of the Ecom Exits podcast. Other than business, I also love yoga, gym, biking, Burning Man, travel, all that good stuff. And now I invest in, acquire, accelerate e-commerce businesses, and aiming for 7-figure, 8-figure exits. So all right, a little bit about what we will discuss. The 4 stages to FBA exit success. The 3 Ps that you all will need if you want to not just exit your business, but also scale your business. How you can sell for a higher multiple. And information without action is nothing. And so this is also going to be structured around with different action items for all of you to hopefully make some improvements and grow your business. So awesome. All right, so let's take it back a couple of years. This is a message that I sent to a mentor of mine. You see, this is a couple of years ago, 2017. It says, in an unexpected turn of events, I'm flying to China today to hopefully work out the details and close the sale of my business. This is very unexpected and exciting, and was nerve-wracking. All very true. And so, long story short, was able to successfully sell the business. And the reason that I was able to do that was because of I had in place. I had built the business in a way that enabled me to have the exit that I ended up successfully having, and that's due to the 3 Ps, process, people, profit, which we will get into more later. Here's a picture of me with some of my team. So it was after the successful exit. And so it was really thanks to the 3 Ps that I was able to successfully have my sale. And that's what we are going to learn more about today. Some other stuff. So after that, had a lot of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Wasn't really sure. I knew I had value to add and wanted to help others. And so first went on a bunch of podcasts and might recognize someone's face down there.
Who's that guy?
I don't know. He's super good looking.
That was funny when I was in China. I was in Guangzhou visiting my factory that time. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I remember. Yeah, and I think I was actually in the Philippines then. And So after the sale, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Wanted to go out and share my story. Wanted to help others. and look for new opportunities. I realized that a lot of the concepts that the core concepts that I learned from my first business were applicable to other businesses, and so that's what got me involved. And I invested and partnered with a handful of these other businesses, as well as launched my podcast, all with the same goal to helping businesses to scale, building them as assets that they can exit from. And that brings us to today. So with Sellerplex, my personal interest is really investing in, acquiring, accelerating $1 million e-commerce brands, which I think all of us are trying to do. So
that's the goal. That's the mission. Make $1 million. You know what I'm saying? That's the dream.
That's right. And so let's dive into it. So yeah, basically what I've found with all the businesses that I've been a part of is really there are 4 stages of any business. This applies to e-commerce, service, agency, consulting, and yeah. So the first is traction. The next is the grind, and that's where we're going to spend most of the time of this presentation, is the grind, solving for those 3 Ps. Then after that, we've got scale, which is growth without you, and then last but not least, exit. And we're going to look at a couple different exit scenarios, and you can choose for yourself what is most interesting, the objective for you. So, all right, so traction, your first sales. Almost every failed startup has a product. What failed startups don't have are enough customers. And so this, as Amazon sellers, to be honest, something that don't have to worry about so much, because when you're selling on Amazon, the customers, you know where they are, and there are a lot of them, and they are on Amazon. That's one of the, probably the best things about the FBA business model is where the customers are, and how to get them. And so yeah, this, assuming all of us here, or anyone, if you're listening to this, have some product, have some sales. Riley's the man helping people to get to that point. And so yeah, what you got to know about the first stage is you got to have a product, you got to have some sales. And then that will get you into the second phase, which is the grind. So the grind, so there's just a quote, I think it's, I don't know, maybe you've heard it, but it says, "I'd rather work 100 hours a week for myself than 40 hours a week for someone else." So yeah, maybe some of you have heard that. And, while I think it's pretty common startup mindset mentality, I gotta be honest though, I don't that's not the kind of the life that I'm trying to live. Honestly, I'm not trying to work 100 hours a week for myself or for anyone. And so the thing that you got to do, to get out of this grind, and listen, I know that it takes hard work to get something off the ground, and you got to work hard and put in hours. I know that, I respect that. But the thing is, you wanna get out of that phase, because if you're balance is important, and you want to do these other things that aren't work, you gotta get some foundations in place. And so what I found with all my businesses is really, the three things that you need in order to both scale your business as well as have an exit are going to be process, people, and profit. And so these are the same things if you want to scale your business or if you want to have an exit and sell your business. It's the same things. Both are required, or all are required for both to scale or to sell. So first, let's dive into process. So you can't scale or sell a business that's dependent on you to run. This makes sense. How could you, if you are necessarily tied into fulfilling whatever the service or delivery of whatever you're selling, how could you transition that over to someone else to buy that and run that for you? And at the same time, if you want to scale the business, if it's all dependent on your time and effort is limited. So that's why you gotta have process. So when I say process, I mean systems, organizations, SOPs, documentation. And so this is stuff that I know that people can get a little it can be kind of daunting. You hear SOPs and systems and templates, and this is just an example of this is a system, this is an SOP, and it's just a vitals login sheet. So this is something, it's simple. It's just a sheet to track all of your logins so that you have them all in one place, and something that you can share with your team. You bring on a contractor, they know how to log into things, they know how to get access. You bring on a new team member, same thing. And yeah, this is just like, it's a simple system that you can add to your business to make it more scalable, and help you run it better.
Mm-hmm.
So then we got another one, which is just a sample SOP. And again, SOPs is stuff that I know, and personally, like I don't know, SOPs can be daunting. Where do you start? And yeah, this is just like, we don't need to overcomplicate this. It's just a simple document. This one is, how to create an Amazon seller support ticket. And, you got some text, you got some screenshots. And this was actually something that my team put together. So to be honest, I'm not big on creating SOPs. I'm better at video. Like, I can talk and screen share. And so what I like to do is I'll create a video walking through a process, and then I'll pass that off to my team, and then they'll use that to create the SOP. You don't need to overcomplicate it. It could just be some bullet points of how to do things. It can evolve as things, as the business progresses. It's important to have them and to start them.
Mm-hmm.
So the action item for this section is make some SOPs. Some ones that we talk about and that I teach is having a master product list, some SOPs related to customer service, around your PO reorder process, weekly reorder report. These are all things that will help you to organize and streamline your business so that you can scale as well as exit.
Mm-hmm. And for the record, you guys, do you set this up and help businesses with this stuff?
Yeah, totally. I mean, we've got a couple different, ways that we work with people, and yeah, setting up SOPs as well as the other.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you have a bunch of templates like ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one thing with FBA and e-commerce businesses, they're a lot of the same processes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing a reorder process, the factory could be different. Maybe it's in China, maybe it's in the US, maybe it's somewhere else, but it follows quite a similar process. And so, we've taken the SOPs from originally made for my business, and now, we work with a dozen more different, e-commerce brands, and so yeah, we've got a lot of experience in seeing what different businesses use and need. And yeah, happy to help people if they need it.
Awesome.
So, all right, moving on. The next P, we got people. So, another quote that I couldn't find the source, but I've heard it a bunch of times, and it's that business owners' number one challenge is finding and retaining the right talent. And so, all right, great, you got some processes, but if you want to unplug, you want to scale, you want to exit, you're going to have to find some other people to do them. And so, a couple things here that I want to talk about. So one is thinking about the organizational design. And so at a high level, you want to think of your business as a machine. And, looking at it from the top down, this is like a general organizational structure that can be applied to most businesses. Mm-hmm. At the top, you've got the CEO. That's the seat that you want to be sitting in. And then below that, you got the GM or the COO, head of operations. And then you got your different departments. And so we got sales, marketing, operations, finance, HR. This is like obviously quite generic, but really can be adopted to most businesses. And if we want to look at specifically an FBA business, so this is how I organize my business. Feel free to use this. Feel free to change it. I mean,
yeah, this looks awesome. I need this.
Yeah. So the way that I broke it down, and the way that, also work with other businesses is, you've got your finance, which is going to take care of your numbers, which we'll get into in the next section actually, as well as handling your payments. Got your Amazon bucket, So Amazon marketing, product launch, PPC, account management. You got your supply chain, sourcing, logistics, etc., and your new product development. And so yeah, this was how I structured my business. And then above that, if you depending on the size or scale of the business, you got a GM or a COO, and then the CEO. And so a couple things important to note about this is, so when you're starting, obviously you're probably just going to be one person, and that's fine. One person can fill more than one seat. And especially when you're starting, one person is probably, you are going to be doing all of these things, and that's okay. As you grow, it's going to be about finding people to plug in to the different areas so you can unplug from them. And an important thing to note is that one person can be in more than one seat, but you cannot have two people in one seat. So yeah, just kind of a tip on
if
that.
multiple people are in charge, no one's in charge.
Exactly. And so all right, so we got our kind of structure. Now let's talk a little bit about how to find the right people. And so this is something that I've developed for my business, and it's really it's a hiring funnel. And just like you want to build a marketing funnel to get leads or sales, you want to build a hiring funnel to get pop out qualified applicants. And so at the top, you've got your job post, which I like to include description of the job as well as some initial questions, and then follow-up questions, round 2, and then give them test projects, kind of like a try before you buy sort of thing. And then, at the end is going to be like, after all of this is when you actually hop on a call with them. And yeah, the point is, the idea is just to have this structure set up so that it's automated, and you just dump in applicants at the top. And if they successfully complete the different levels of your funnel, then they will pop out to be qualified applicants. And the goal is to be efficient, be effective. You don't want to spend, hiring can be super time consuming. And, if you use a funnel, then it'll make it so you're able to do that, a lot less time consuming. And yeah, and this is something, so don't have time to go into all of the, details and all the different parts of the funnel, but we'll give you an option if you want to download later the slides, as well as we'll have more resources around, job postings and the hiring funnel. This is, one thing that, it's been, hugely important for me and my businesses is, getting this stuff in place. And so, yeah, hope it's useful for you too as well. And so the action for this section is going to be to create your org chart. And then the sub action is going to be to fill it. But, first and foremost, it's, think about your business. How do you want it organized at a high level? Feel free to, rip the org design that I shared, or, you can also, of course, structure it differently. But the thing is, thinking about the different, buckets of what goes into operating your business, and structure accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine is basically exactly what you showed the example. I would add one thing is off Amazon marketing, and then boom.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, so there you go. Feel free to borrow that from Riley and myself. And yeah, next we got the next P. We got profit. So profit for a company is like oxygen for a person. And so what does that mean? That if a person doesn't have oxygen, what happens? They die. If a business doesn't have profit, what happens? It also dies. So profit, it's, necessary, you just, a business, it's
gotta have it.
You gotta have it. And so yeah, this is something, that, I'd like to share and kind of talk about. So I'm guessing many of you are familiar with Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Mm-hmm.
But also guessing that less of you are familiar with this guy, Keith Cunningham. And so Keith Cunningham is actually, he was or is Robert Kiyosaki's teacher. And so Keith Cunningham is Rich Dad of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And Keith is an incredibly successful entrepreneur, has written a ton of books. Highly recommend this one, The Road Less Stupid. And in this book, The Road Less Stupid, one of the main things that he talks about is this idea of thinking time, and that as a CEO, it's our part of our best opportunity and the best, most important work that we do is, just sitting aside and thinking about the business and reviewing things in the business that are going to give you the best chance of success. And he talks about one of the most important thinking times being reviewing your monthly profit and loss statement, your P&L. And so what is the P&L? It's going to run through some of this finance stuff quickly. And so caveat, I'm not an accountant, but I've learned why this stuff is important and why it's necessary for businesses. And this is like this is a need to have, not a nice to have. I mean, every business just has to have, be on top of their numbers, be on top of their P&L. If they want to, it's necessary for, tax obligations, as well as if you want to have an exit, you gotta know your numbers. You're valued at a multiple of your profit. So you gotta have this. And so just real quick at your P&L, you've got your revenue at the top, minus your cost of goods. It's going to give you your gross profit. Then minus your expenses is going to give you your different words for it: operating income, net income, profit, all means the same thing. And that's the number that we want to get as high as we can. That's going to, that's the number that your business is valued at if and when you exit. So yeah, got to get super important.
Yep.
Next, real quick, is the balance sheet. Also important. So the balance sheet, you've got your assets, which are basically things that put money into your pocket. You've got liabilities, which take money out of your pocket. And the difference is the owner's equity. And so this is important as well if you want to ever sell your business, because the profit and loss can show that the business is making a ton of profit, but the balance sheet is going to show if the business has, say, like a ton of debt. And so, it's important. If someone's going to buy the business, they're going to want to know if the business is, what equity, if it has debt or not, and that's what the balance sheet shows. And so, yeah, another important one that you're going to want to be on top of. And last but not least, and this one is super useful, is I'd highly recommend all you take advantage of this. And this is a cash flow chart, cash flow projections. And so, as you know, with e-commerce, super capital intensive, takes a lot of money to run these businesses. You got to buy more inventory, launch new products. That all costs money. And yeah, cash flow projections like this, it shows you, it gives you insight into money in, money out, so you can plan accordingly. Cash flow management is super important with these FBA businesses, and this is another tool that you can use to help you stay on top of things.
Mm-hmm.
So the action for this section and what you should all do is really, review ruthlessly your P&L. All expenses that you can cut on your P&L are directly going to flow through and increase your profit. That's going to be more money for you into your pocket, as well as make your business more valuable. And so something that, every $1,000 that you cut of your expenses, when you sell it, is going to put $30,000 or more into your pocket. So yeah, really important, really good activity. And so yeah, the action is to, one, make sure that you have a P&L, and then review it. Review your expenses. What can you cut? What can you restructure? Save some money and put more money into your pocket, and increase the value of your business.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got through the 3 Ps. So that's like I said, the really, the real meat that we're going through. And once you solve the 3 Ps, process, people, profit, to be honest, you're in a good spot. You got options, and now you are able to scale. You've got an automated, predictable cash machine. Which brings us to a pretty important question. You solve the 3 Ps, you're profitable, your team's running the business. Do you want to exit or not? And this is, it's a important question. You put a lot of hard work into the business. You've built this thing. It's kicking off profit. Do you want to sell or not? It's up to you. There's a lot of different reasons that people have that they, would want to sell. But, to be honest, that's not always the best outcome. It could be, but if you want to hold the business and keep it for the cash flow, that's a good option as well. And so, yeah, something to think about for the exit. So there's a star. I don't know the stat exactly, but I've heard this in other presentations, is that 50% of income from your e-commerce business comes at an exit. And this is something, I know from my FBA business, we were growing, we were profitable, but so much of that money was invested back into the business. And so, I paid myself a modest salary, but most of my income from my FBA business came when I decided to sell it. And so something to keep in mind for you, and decide whether or not you want to have an exit. And so, let's talk about the exit a little bit and what makes up your exit. And so, basically you've got on one side, at first you've got your profit or your SDE, seller discretionary earnings, could be EBITDA as well. That is, how much profit is the business making? And then you're going to multiply that by a multiple. And so the multiple is going to be affected by a couple different factors. How easily is the business able to be transferred to the new owner? How diversified is it? How big is it? What assets does it have? As well as what type of buyer. And, you got your profit times your multiple, and that is going to, the outcome is going to be your exit valuation. And so, how do you, do that for your exit? Exit with a broker, M&A advisory, similar to a broker, a little bit different, or you sell yourself. And, that is basically your exit formula. So let's take a look at a couple different, just 2 different scenarios here. And so let's first take a look at an FBA business that's doing $1 million in revenue. Say profit is 30%, so say it's doing $300K, and it's selling through just FBA assets. You got FBA listings. The multiple of this business, you're probably going to get around 2.5x plus inventory, and so that's going to sale price of around $750,000, which is, that's a good chunk of money. And then let's take a look at if you've got an e-com or a real brand. So a brand, so let's say the business is 3 times bigger. So you're doing $3 million in revenue, the same 30% profit margin. But with your e-com brand, let's say you're selling on Amazon, great. You've also got some Facebook funnels, some profitable AdWords campaigns. Maybe you got some affiliates that are making sales for you. And this business, let's look at the assets. You got your FBA listings, you got your customer list, you got your funnels, you got your affiliates. And, this business you're probably looking at a multiple that's closer to 5x. And so with this business, the multiple is doubled. And the business, it's 3 times bigger, but you're selling for like a 6 or 7x more of what you were when it was just the FBA business. And so this is, these numbers are fairly realistic. And what you want to aim for is totally up to you. Just want to present these as, different options or things to shoot for. with your with your
Yeah, for
businesses.
sure. It's like basically the more diversified your income streams, the more stable it is, which makes it much more attractive for buyers. And so makes total sense. And,
Exactly.
most FBA sellers, I hope, know that, FBA Amazon is one tool, but really the goal is to build an e-com brand that has multiple sales channels.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And so, yeah, just stuff to, food for thought as you are building your businesses. You can, build in whatever direction is most, fits your goals. Yep. So there we go. Back to the million or potential multi-million-dollar question: is to exit or not to exit? Again, that's something that is up to you, but you want to build the business the right way, solve for those 3 Ps, and it's going to give you options. And so, yeah, for anyone that is listening, if you want to, crush those 3 Ps on the way to a scalable and sellable business, made the slides available for you. If you go to sellerplex.com/PPP, as well as I'm happy to throw in a free strategy session. And yeah, like I said, you'll get the slides as well as some additional resources around our hiring funnels in that as well. And so yeah, that there we have it. Yeah, I would love to connect with anyone. You can hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. Shoot me an email at Sellerplex and download the slides. Yeah, there we go. Hope this was useful, and we'd love to connect.
Awesome. Yeah, I still got to make it out to Burning Man. Damn, I've never been down there. I'm always I'm never back for August. It's always sometime soon. Maybe next year. Anyway, yeah, that was dope. I need to get a lot of my ducks in a row. So yeah, guys, if your goal is to flip your business for $1 million and you want to get all your ducks in a row, hit up Nate. That's what he does. So yeah, that was awesome. Excited to share this. I think people are gonna love it.
Cheers, man. Well, glad we made it happen, got it in, and hope to cross paths again. Who knows? Bali, Mexico, Thailand, America.
Who knows when? Who knows where? Digital nomad life. Can't complain.
That's right. Well, good stuff, man. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the FBA Lifestyle Podcast. Don't forget to follow on all podcast platforms, YouTube and Instagram. Ready to fast track your first or next FBA product? Ready to create a real product that leaves the competition in the dust? Then check out the 90-Day FBA Challenge, a 12-week accelerator program with weekly coaching calls where we help you go from zero idea what to sell to a product live on Amazon within 90 days. And download the free Amazon Secrets ebook, FBA Lifestyle, the Amazon Experts. Start your FBA business. Achieve the freedom lifestyle.